What's up, you guys? It's your boy Big Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to all my subscribers out there, man. And we're finally here. We've made it to the NBA Finals now after the Boston Celtics pulled off an amazing victory in Miami in Game 7 on Sunday night. So now we got the Celtics and the Warriors in the NBA Finals. And I'm going to get into my preview about that tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. So stay tuned for that video. Make sure you get your notifications up. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications when I drop in my videos. Now, I'm going to discuss about Game 7 in Miami. Clearly, it was pretty much a series that was pretty much a blowout after blowout and had some interesting moments, but also some key injuries to key players that really dictated the flow of the series. But heading into this Game 7, I was going with Miami in Game 7 because I felt that okay, Miami pretty much had figured out Boston's defense, and now they were gonna pretty much tear it to shreds this time in Game 7. And what really disappointed me about the Miami Heat was is that at the start of the basketball game, their defensive rotations were absolutely horrendous. I mean, it felt like they were just a step slower than the Boston Celtics. And you got to give the Celtics a lot of credit. They did an excellent job executing their offense very efficiently. Okay, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were the guys who set the tempo for their teams, even though they weren't dominating the game in terms of scoring a lot of points. What they did was is that they were playmaking. They were basically using their attention against the Heat, and they were getting a lot of guys involved early on in the game. And what the telling sign was to me, though, in my observation and watching the game, was that Jason Tatum did a really good job of orchestrating the flow of the game. And when the first quarter came to an end, I was just sitting here watching the TV screen like the Heat did not show up for this Game 7. They were being passive. It felt like they just figured out, they basically just laid the dud, and as they went down by as many as six by at least 15. You know what I'm saying? And in a Game 7, you can't afford to do that. In a Game 7, you have to be ready and prepared and be able to adjust what the opponents are throwing at you. I felt that the Boston Celtics did a good job of moving the ball in transition, and the Miami Heat defense was not getting back defensively. I mean, they were giving up a lot of fast break points, and the Heat were just a half step slow on a lot of their defensive rotation, and they were giving up a lot of wide open shots, a lot of miscommunications on pick and roll sets, on screen rolls. I mean, it just felt like they just weren't. They just felt like the Celtics were just going to quit in Game 7, and you can't assume that. All right. Now, I felt that after the Heat got the victory in Game 6, that they pretty much figured themselves out, and they figured out how to stop the Celtics. Well, unfortunately, that was not the case, as both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown did an efficient job, dissecting the Miami defense, and there was pretty much nothing they could do to stop them. Now, here's the other thing that you have to really understand. Let me get my water first. So, one thing you have to really understand is that there was a lot of things that people have to take into consideration when you look at the entire game. Now, Jimmy Butler was fresh off of that 47-point performance he had in Game 6. The big question that I felt like, can he give another outstanding performance a second time? Could he do it again? And he played the entire game. He had no rest. He played all 48 minutes. All right. He scored 35 points and shot 13 to 24 from the field for 54% efficient shooting. Bam Adebayo, he played nearly the whole game with the exception of 2 minutes. He played 46 minutes. He shot 12 of 21 for the field for 57% and scored 25 points. But here's the really telling sign that really was the difference in the game. And people are talking about the Max Strauss, 3-point shot that was weighed off. I'm not even worried about that shot at all because it should have never gotten to that point in the first place. But here's the big telling sign that really was the difference in Game 7. The role players of Max Strauss, Kyle Lowry, and Victor Oladipo. Get this. Look, see how much they shot from the field. You want to know? They shot a combined total of 12 of 43 from the field for 27% outside of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. In the final stat line in that game, Max Strauss played 35 minutes. He shot 3 of 10 from the field for 30% and shot 2 for 7 from three-point range. Kyle Lowry played 38 minutes, shot 4 of 12 from the field, 1 of 6 from three-point range. Victor Oladipo, 32 minutes, but he too shot 4 of 12 from the field for 33% and shot 1 of 7 from three-point range. It looked like that every shot that Victor Oladipo tossed up, it didn't even look good coming out of his hands. And the same for Kyle Lowry as well. You know what I mean? That was the difference in the ball game for the Heat. Those three role players failed to produce in the big way, and that pretty much put so much pressure on Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler to pretty much carry the entire offensive load. That to me was the difference in why they lost this game. Now, people are going to very much in debate of should Jimmy Butler taken that three-pointer with about 21 seconds to go when they were down by 2 points. Here's the deal about that. In a tactical sense, I would have liked Jimmy Butler to drive the ball to the basket, try to get the layup, and try to force a foul call to try to get yourself to the free throw line, and he's capable of doing that. But under those circumstances, he was trying to go for the win and look to try to put the dagger towards the Celtics, and unfortunately, he missed. To me, I don't have an issue with that at all. That's the responsibility that star players have to live with. Sometimes those shots go in. Sometimes those shots don't go down in big moments. Jordan has had that. Ewing has had that. Bird, Magic, all those great players. Even LeBron and Kobe have had moments where they were taking the game-winning shot to win the game, and sometimes it go in, and sometimes it doesn't. And Jimmy Butler has reportedly said he had no regrets in taking the shot. And to me, I don't have an issue with that at all. You know what I mean? It takes guts to take that kind of shot in that moment, but you have to be willing to take the shot in that moment to prove to yourself that you can do it. And unfortunately, he just missed. That's just how basketball is. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. But the big issue was that Miami's role players choked horribly in game 7. That was the difference to me in the entire game. I'm not worried about the Strauss, controversial three or whatever that didn't count, in which he did step out of bounds. Let's just be real. But those three role players for the Heat shot basically 27% from the field. You're not going to win many games in the playoffs when your role players don't show up in the big moments. If they would have shot at least half of their threes, that would have been the difference in possibly putting them over the Celtics in that game 7. But unfortunately, they didn't show up. They played tentatively, and they were missing shots all over the court. It's just like every shot they took, it just did not feel good coming out of their hands. That's what game 7 exposes. Exposes people that are basically ready for those big moments, and some of them are not ready for those moments. And I'm just sitting here like, this is why, unfortunately, the Heat may never get to the finals unless they do something with those role players. Hell, I was pretty much disturbed to the fact that Duncan Robinson didn't get much minutes. Now, the reason why I knew why Coach Eric Spoelstra did not put Duncan Robinson into this series was because of the fact that he couldn't defend anybody. But hell, if I was Eric Spoelstra, we need offense at this point. Forget the defense. You're trying to score. And I would have put Duncan Robinson in the game and say, hey, make some shots for us. We need you to hit some shots to really open up the floor right now because we're struggling offensively. We need one more player to pretty much help Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And he didn't even get one single minute in the game. You know what I mean? I would have put him in there to see what he can do. If he can make some shots for us to really open up the defense and make things easier for Bam and Jimmy, so be it. I wouldn't have an issue with that at all. But unfortunately, I'm not the coach, and I don't make those decisions. That's why Eric Spoelstra, the great coach that he is, makes those kind of decisions. But yeah, it was a well played game 7. The Heat, almost pulled off an amazing comeback, but they just fell short. And now the Celtics are now into the NBA Finals. And also salute to Jason Tatum. I saw him wearing that number 24 purple wristband on his left arm in tribute to Kobe Bryant. I think that was really, really classy on his part and paying respect to his favorite player, man. Very, very touching indeed. And I know that Kobe would have been proud to see that from a young Jason Tatum. But now we got, one of the best offenses in the league in the Golden State Warriors. And now you got the best defensive team in the Boston Celtics. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup, to say the least. And so I'm going to take some time to think about the matchups, you know what I mean, and how I kind of see how the series will play out. But congratulations to the Celtics. They're in the NBA Finals, and they're going to have the chance to play against the Golden State Warriors this Thursday night in Golden State. But stay tuned this week as I prepare my predictions and give you my analysis on the entire 2022 NBA Finals. But that's all for now, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.